Hello everybody, welcome back to Matty Reacts, a channel where we take a look at things we've never watched or listened to before. And today we've covered one of these artists on the channel before. That is Calvin Harris, but this is alongside Ellie Goulding, and it's called Free. It's a new song that they're doing together. And I thought I'd pick it up and take a look at it because they've worked together in the past, and the output was pretty good. So I thought, why not take a look at what they've got to offer this time? Here we go.
What do I say now? Don't wanna fall in love.
Very Ellie Goulding-y.
I'm not afraid now. Eyes closed, holding on, alone, no more.
It's obviously going to kick in a minute, and we'll obviously let it do that in a second. But yeah, just to sort of backtrack a little bit, it sounds very much like Ellie Goulding usually sounds on these songs. There's nothing sort of new in terms of how she's singing or anything like that. It also sounds very much like Calvin Harris has been sounding recently, in that he's pulling more and more sort of 90s dance influences into his work. Whereas when I first started listening to him, he did a lot more 80s sort of callbacks, and now he's doing a lot of 90s callbacks. And this one sounds like it's a bit of a 90s throwback as well. Let's see if the drop has the same 90s feel. Yes, is the answer. Very 90s. It's funny, right? Because the 90s seems like a long time ago now, but the 90s is also when I was, you know, a young impressionable kid. I think they say, don't they? Whatever you're listening to when you're sort of in your early teens tends to be the stuff you carry through and listen to into later life as well. But I actually think it goes back further than that, and I think the stuff you listen to when you're in single digits, even if you don't listen to it, you always have a sort of resonance with it. So when I was, you know, growing up in the 90s, and a lot of this sort of dance music was about, although I don't really listen to that much dance music, when it comes on, you automatically feel like a callback to it, like a familiarity with it, even if it's a new song, just in the style of. And that's what this is to me. It feels familiar, and I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. I think people sometimes think, oh, you know, there's more synth driven 80s pop, or yet more 90s dance inspired you know, songs. It's, to me, the music is always going to be cyclical. There's always going to be, you know, 20 or 30 years after a sound is popular, it will be popular again. It's just how music seems to go. You know, we've had in recent years, we've had, you know, 60s sort of I don't know, 60s sounds coming back. There was a time when sort of Northern Soul and Motown was sort of really popular again, and then we've had a sort of disco resurgence over the past few years. There's obviously been a lot of 80s inspired synth pop coming through. There's 90s inspired dance music. You know, we're not far off being enough into the 20s that a return to the sort of the 10s sound is that far off. I think we'll probably have a few more years until it really kicks in again, but you know, the sort of early 10s, I guess, sort of that dance music will come back at some point. You know, the really sort of jarring synth heavy dance stuff where they tried to make the most obnoxious synth sounds possible. That's all going to make a comeback probably in 5 or 10 years, and be popular again. But yeah, I really enjoy. I'm quite maudlin as a person. I like to look back on things. So when they release songs like this that are a bit of a callback, it's, to me, not always a bad thing.
What do I say now? Don't wanna fall in love. I'm not afraid now. Eyes closed, holding on.
And that arpeggio in the background.
No more.
That's very 90s too.
I'm
But yeah, it's those stabby piano chords, I think, that does it mainly. Also, and this isn't the case for all 90s dance songs, but this is very much, there's not a lot going on lyrically with the song. There's a lot of repetition. The messaging is quite basic. There's no sort of hidden depths to it, really. Sometimes in dance music, in EDM, you know, that's how it goes. The song isn't there to be, full of messages and things to uncover, and that's all right as well. That's all right too. It's a very trippy video as well. Well, lyric video. It's obviously not the full video. Will there even be a full video? I don't know. Yeah, I mean, like I say, it's a very familiar 90s inspired dance pop song by one of the most famous and well paid DJs in the world, and a very familiar sounding singer. I mean, I think Ellie Goulding, if you listen to anything that is Ellie Goulding, you automatically know it's her. One of Ellie Goulding's songs was one of the songs that was played at my wedding, so I certainly have more cause than most to recognise the voice straight away. But yeah, I think even if you've ever heard one song by Ellie Goulding before, you've heard her voice, you know it's Ellie Goulding. And like I say, these two have worked together before, and it was a solid. I think that was also a 90s inspired song, and then this one is another one, and I think it's a hit. I think it's only the 1st of August, so I suppose it's technically not too late to be a summer hit, but it feels like this should have maybe been released a month or two ago to really catch the sort of holiday season in earnest. But yeah, very, very good song, and I think it'll go on the sort of the more up-tempo playlists that I've got. So yeah, thank you very much for dropping by, and I'll see you again in another reaction video very soon.